Yes guys, it's your boy Cam, back with another video. Let's talk about Wilder's comeback. The Bronze Bomber's back. October 15th, Brooklyn. Let's go. Let's get straight into it guys. The Bronze Bomber's back October 15th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Guys, I think it's just it's great news, you know. It came out yesterday night and it's great news for the heavyweight division. Look, Wilder brings excitement. I think the main thing the main thing on our minds is what Wilder are we getting? Is he the same after those two back-to-back knockout defeats? And only time will tell, but he's not the oldest for a heavyweight. He's about 35. I think he's turning 36. So you can still say he's got a couple fights left in him. And he's got that power. You'd say he hasn't taken much punishment in his career, but coming off those two fights with Fury, he took a lot of punishment. But like I said, let's see how he comes back. He will be against Robert Helenius. I'm actually really impressed with this comeback fight. I think it's a great matchup, both on PBC. And Robert Helenius, he's no joke. Obviously, they've done a lot of sparring together as well, but Robert Helenius is coming off a 3 knockout win streak himself. He last lost when he got knocked out by Jordan Washington in 2019. So he's in a bit of form himself, Robert Helenius. He can punch. Robert Helenius is 31-3 losses. He's knocked out 20 of his opponents, so his knockout percentage is well over 50%. It's about 58%. So he can crack. And we're talking about a confident fighter who had knocked out Adam Kownacki twice in a row. He's coming off those 2 wins, and I think the first one you got to give it to him as well. That was quite an upset because at the time there was a lot of hype around the babyface Adam Kownacki. He was like. He was saying, Adam Kownacki was saying he wanted Wilder. There were talks about him fighting Chisora and all the bigger names. And obviously he had a lot of momentum behind him. But out of nowhere, Robert Helenius just pulled it off, bullied him in that first fight, knocked him out. And then in the second fight, it was absolute domination. He looked so confident, Robert Helenius. And what I like about Robert Helenius, he's got a nice 1-2. That's what I noticed in that. He likes to use his range quite a lot. And obviously, he's fought a couple of Brits back in the day as well. He fought Derek Chisora in 2011, bit of a controversial split decision, and he got outboxed against Dillian Whyte. That Dillian Whyte fight, actually, I was there at that fight. It was in Cardiff on the Joshua Carlos Takam undercard. But yeah, Robert Helenius, he's a confident fighter. And look, he's going to go in there and try and steamroll Wilder. He's going to try and get him out of there. And I think that's why it's a really good fight. It's all action. They're both around the same height. Helenius might be a little bit taller, so I think that really helps Wilder. I think, for me, it's a Wilder knockout. Well, that's what he should do. He should get the job done. I believe it might take Wilder a couple of rounds to, to be fair, both of them will be out of the ring for about a year. So in terms of ring rust, similar. You could say Helenius will be the confident fighter, but I see the fight playing out. I see the first few rounds quite cagey. Obviously, Wilder trying to, brush off the ring rust, trying to work out like he does. Wilder's always a slow starter, but then that's the thing against Fury in the trilogy. He started quite quick with the jabs to the body, and let's not forget, I believe, who's in the trainer? Malik Scott. I'm guessing still in his corner. So, we might still see those nice sharp jabs to the body. He might get off to a quick start. And when a lot of people talk about Wilder, everyone just talks about his power. But I think he's got a decent jab, to be fair. In the first fight against Fury, even though I feel like he got heavily outboxed for the majority of the fight, I do feel like he was, jabbing with Fury, and he had some good jabs and some success with his jabs in that first fight. But yeah, I see, I think Helenius might get off to a decent start as well. It's going to be cagey early on, and then I predict Deontay Wilder to knock Helenius out between rounds 6 and 9, if not earlier. But yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. Overall, really good, really glad to hear Wilder's back. And look, if he can get the job done, I put a tweet out yesterday. I'd like him to get back up to that world title shot. Let's see what happens with Fury. If Fury does retire and vacates that WBC belt, we know Mauricio Sulaiman really does, be a bit biased towards. He favoritizes Deontay Wilder, so we could very well see the WBC belt on the line for that fight, which would be interesting. But let's see what happens. If Wilder wins, I think he should fight Dillian Whyte or Andy Ruiz. It'll probably be the Ruiz-Ortiz winner because obviously it's in-house, it's PBC fighters. I'd probably be a lot easier to make. And then I'd like to see him next year probably fight Usyk or Joshua. This really depends on what Fury does. If Fury comes out of retirement and then fights Joshua or Fury, if Fury fights the winner of Usyk Joshua, Wilder he'll be out of the picture. But I think if Fury is out of the picture and is retired, I think let's put it this way: the one fight that Wilder needs to have next year is against AJ. Regardless if AJ wins the belts, it'll be even bigger. If AJ loses, perfect. So the 3 fights I'd like is obviously Helenius, knock him out, get that out of the way, fight Ortiz Ruiz winner. I think it'll be Ruiz. That'll be a great fight. Or Dillian Whyte if it can be made. There'll be a lot of beef in that fight in the build up, and then fight AJ. But hopefully for Wilder, I'm not his biggest fan. I do like Wilder. I guess. But it would be nice to see him, fight for the world titles again. And imagine if he becomes undisputed. That would be what a story. I mean, that would be kind of cool because then it just shows how good Fury is. But let me know what you think about the return of the Bronze Bomber. What you think of the matchup? What you think of Robert Helenius coming off, 3 knockouts, 3 knockout win streak. Confident fighter. He won't be no pushover. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I'll be back with another video tomorrow with my final Usyk Joshua prediction. Let's go.
Foreign bad bitch, I can't even pronounce her name. Talking numbers on the phone while I'm getting brains. Switch 4 lanes.